Welcome back to Learning American English. We are happy you are here and would like to invite you to subscribe to our podcast so you can best benefit from our weekly educational episodes for English learners. Each of our episodes focus on a specific, practical topic that you will encounter in real American life. Every lesson is structured in exactly the same way, so you always know what to expect and how to study most effectively. Part 1. Vocabulary. Each lesson begins with 10 carefully chosen vocabulary words related to the lesson's topic. Each word includes a clear definition and an example sentence showing the word used naturally in context. Read these words before the rest of the lesson to prepare your mind for the new concepts ahead. Part 2. Dialogue. Each lesson includes a realistic, context-based conversation between people in a real-life American situation. Read both sides of the dialogue aloud if possible. This builds natural spoken fluency. Notice the tone, the language used, and how the characters handle the social situation with confidence and grace. Part 3. Guidance article. Each lesson includes a mini article that explains the cultural topic in depth, the history, the norms, the nuances, and the why behind the behaviors. Reading this section will give you genuine understanding, not just surface-level rules. Part 4. Tips and strategies. Each lesson closes with 3 specific, actionable real-life tips that you can begin using immediately. These are practical strategies drawn from real American cultural experience, not generic advice. Are you ready to begin? Okay, here we go.
Lesson 4. Tipping culture in America. Tipping is one of the most confusing aspects of American culture for visitors and newcomers. Unlike most countries where service workers earn a full wage, many American service workers depend on tips as their primary income. Learning when, how much, and how to tip is an essential everyday social skill. Part 1. Vocabulary, 10 key words. 1. Gratuity. A tip or sum of money given voluntarily in appreciation of service. A 20% gratuity was automatically added for parties of 8 or more. 2. Service charge. A mandatory fee added to a bill for service, distinct from a voluntary tip. The restaurant added a 15% service charge for large parties. 3. Discretionary. Left to personal choice, not formally required. Tipping at coffee shops is considered discretionary but genuinely appreciated. 4. Prompt. A request or nudge for action, often displayed on a digital payment screen. The tip prompt on the tablet offered options of 15%, 20%, or 25%. 5. Cash tip. A tip paid in physical currency rather than by credit card. He preferred to leave a cash tip so the server received it immediately. 6. Valet. A person who parks and retrieves cars for guests at a hotel or restaurant. The hotel valet retrieved her car within 5 minutes. 7. Livelihood. A means of securing the necessities of life, how someone earns a living. For many restaurant servers, tips are the majority of their livelihood. 8. Customary. According to the usual practices or conventions of a society. It is customary to tip 20% at sit-down restaurants in the United States. 9. Appreciation. Gratitude and recognition for someone's effort or service. She showed her appreciation to the movers with a generous tip. 10. Round up. To increase an amount to the nearest whole number or a higher convenient amount. He rounded up the taxi fare to the nearest dollar as a tip. Part 2. Dialogue, figuring out the tip. Ollie. Okay, the bill is $63. How much do we tip? Sophie. Service was great, so I'd say 20%. 10% of 63 is 6.30, double it and you get about $12.60, so let's call it $13. Ollie. Got it. Should we leave it on the card or in cash? Sophie. Either is fine. Cash tips mean the server gets it directly. On a card it usually goes through the restaurant's system. Ollie. What about tipping at the coffee bar? The tablet always shows those tip options and it feels awkward. Sophie. For a plain drip coffee I usually skip it, but if they made a complicated drink I'll tip $1 or go 15%. It's really your call. Ollie. Back home we never tip at all. This is taking some getting used to. Sophie. I know, the system is genuinely complex. Just remember, sit-down restaurants and delivery, always tip. Coffee shops, your call. Haircuts, yes. Part 3. Guidance article, The American Tipping System Explained. Tipping in America is a deeply embedded cultural and economic practice. The federal minimum wage for tipped workers is just $2.13 per hour, with the expectation that tips will bring their total earnings up to the standard minimum wage. In practice, tips often make up the majority of a service worker's income, making your tip not merely a gesture of appreciation but a genuine part of their livelihood. Here is a practical guide to tipping by service type. At sit-down restaurants, 18 to 20% is standard, 25% or more for exceptional service. For food delivery, $3 of $5 minimum, or 15 to 20% of the order total. For hair salons and barbers, 15 to 20%. For taxi or rideshare, 15 to 20%, often prompted through the app. For hotel housekeeping, $2.05 per night, left on the pillow. For movers, $20 of 50 per person. For valet parking, $2.05 when you retrieve your car. In recent years, digital payment systems have introduced tip prompts at places that did not traditionally require them: coffee shops, bakeries, and fast food counters. There is no strict obligation to tip in these settings, though doing so is kind when service was personalized. Never leave zero tip at a sit-down restaurant unless service was genuinely terrible. If service was poor, a very small tip signals dissatisfaction without being as extreme as leaving nothing. Speaking to a manager about a serious issue is always an option. Part 4. 3 Real-Life Tips and Strategies. Tip 1. Use the double the tax method for quick tip calculation. In most states, the sales tax on a restaurant bill is 8 to 10%. Simply double the tax amount shown on your bill and you'll land near a 16 to 20% tip automatically. It is fast, easy, and accurate enough for any situation. Tip 2. When paying by card at a restaurant, always fill in both the tip line and the total line before signing. Leaving the total blank on a signed receipt can lead to disputes. Always complete the math yourself and write the final total clearly. Tip 3. For hotel stays, leave a daily tip for housekeeping rather than one sum at checkout. Different staff may clean your room each day, and daily tips ensure the person who actually cleaned that day is recognized and compensated fairly.
We hope you've enjoyed this episode of Learning American English and would greatly appreciate it if you would take a moment right now, if you haven't already done so, to subscribe to our weekly podcast episodes. This podcast was created by Mr. Johan Elvis Sersea, also known as Maestro Sersea, a California-based American English community college instructor who has been teaching American English to English learners in California, United States of America since 1989. Did you know Maestro Sersea has published 7 books on Amazon, numerous educational websites, dozens of podcasts, and nearly 2,000 educational and music videos for English learners on his YouTube channel? Maestro Sersea is also a prolific musician who has created and published numerous songs in various languages, available on Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, YouTube, and other major streaming platforms. In addition, Maestro Sersea is the director and lead instructor of California International Online School, an online American English language school based in California, USA, teaching international English learners just like you. Check for the links in the comments section below and visit our educational and music video YouTube channel, as well as our online school website to learn more English and enjoy a variety of powerful and entertaining music albums.